Hello everybody and welcome to G2 Esports taking on Copenhagen Flames. We are ready to roll in what is going to be a, well, possibly one-sided best of three, at least off the bat you would imagine so. As we look at things, we're already into the pistol round. Apologies for the little bit of delay. We've had some developments, let's put it that way, and we're going to try to fix them as we move along. Copenhagen Flames on the T side and 2v3 moving in towards that B bomb site. Nexa took down the CTs, looking to take them down with a spam, but finding all too much as they cross over. And the side control actually going to be conceded. Copenhagen could be good for a bomb plant.
As you say that, though, they wanted to get a little bit more aggressive so they could pull back one kill and give themselves an actually strong opportunity to try and play it out and win in the after plant. And that just wasn't allowed. I believe it was Jax that got that first one as they pushed in. Oh, sorry. No, it must have been Kenny because he's up on 3 somehow. But yeah, an eventful round overall. I don't know if your X-ray at the moment is fixed, but my one unfortunately is not.
Nope. Mine will not work.
Will not turn on for me either, no. It's a little bit of an issue. Makes things more awkward, especially on your end, since that's actually going over towards the stream. This round at least just been a full eco, so I mean, we probably don't have much to miss in this one. Not even any upgraded pistol, just going to be sticking with those Glocks. And not really doing anything too crazy early on either. Just going to splitting up, holding out, and perhaps waiting to see if G2 themselves want to get aggressive, which I wouldn't expect. They've just done heavy SMGs. I mean, standard aggression over towards Banana, nothing really too crazy other than that. I don't even think they'll really bother peeking down mid or anything the likes. Although, as I say that, it looks like Kenny S could be considering it. And he gets flashed in. Just spots that there's not anyone up close. Except for that boiler running eventually too close. Okay, yeah, this is working out fairly well now.
You'd expect this is going to be a fairly clean round realistically. The 5 SMGs is a pretty risky play by G2, but at the end of the day, when you're taking those on Inferno, you're likely going to be walking away with a decent outcome. When it comes into the next round, they will have rifles, but at the end of the day, with Inferno having so many close range angles, as long as you're not losing anybody here, it can play out as a bit of a bonus. We're working also on getting the X-ray enabled. It shouldn't take too long, at least we hope. But we'll see how things develop on that front. We're using a new production system that we were informed of last minute, so...
We've got an observer in, though. That's
you do!
big thing.
So finally, we won't actually miss the action. If you guys have been here over the last week or so, you will have been with us for some of the hard times. Oh, look at that. Look.
Oh, we can get cam pads. Jakey's just flexing now.
But he's going to turn X-ray on and off a couple times to see if it works. It can be buggy, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, so from what I noticed anyway, some of the others were having those issues too. So it's not just us, but yeah, this buy right here, obviously being all the SMGs kept in play, we're going to go a little bit crazy with it. They are going to be going aggressive pretty much everywhere on the map. An initial kill was found for Copenhagen Flames, but unfortunately, again, returned on towards Banana. G2 able to take that control now for themselves, and with that, slow things down a little bit more. Actually rotating a player over. A little bit surprising. Who's that? It's Nexa right now. You have then Kenny S over towards this position as well, but he's already low health. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind if maybe he had swapped that Galil with one of his teammates, could let them perhaps stack up towards the B side of the map. But because they had Jax aggressive, they wanted to leave him alone. Even then, though, that was not a great spot to solo hold A, because they could have just walked up mid in theory. Either way, though, taken down, so the man advantage being flipped back in favor of Copenhagen Flames. And at this point, shouldn't have too much trouble. Although, as I say that, I see they are focusing towards Banana.
It looks like they've made the wrong gamble, but I wonder how Refresh's position is going to affect this. He's moving up through long. The problem is he's not really going to spot at the side, is he? At this point, he'll probably presume that the players are down back in pit or something like that. And into the stack they go, running through as Kenny doesn't find anything. The kill's going Copenhagen Flames' way. The SMG's not able to overcome. It's 2-1. Copenhagen Flames getting their round on the board. And G2, considering the fact that they invested a bit, they're not really going to be able to get a comfy buy. Nexa and Jax would both be low. That is feasible on Inferno, but they're probably going to want to concede just the one round and play a nice light buy and bring it on afterwards.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're willing to go for this kind of just half investment. As you said, the next round they could get a pretty strong buy. Sure, they did spend a little bit extra in that previous round around those SMGs, but overall they already had the weapons invested into, so I don't think they're incredibly worried about this round specifically. They're focusing more so on just ensuring that they can get off to an overall good CT start. They don't want to be going for those scrappy back and forth fights, and with that MP9 and a few pistols, they do again want to try and get aggressive. Amanek still sticking up close, has the help of Nexa. They were able to trade out 1-for-1 initially. Seeing Naughtios actually sticking around, and fortunately for him, no one from the CT side going to continue to fight that one. So a 1-for-1 early on, not too bad for Copenhagen Flames. They did take a small bit of extra damage, but with the weapon not being retrievable either for G2, it shouldn't really cost them anything. And they are now, I believe, beginning to group back up on mid. If they were to take this long, they'd probably be able to wrap around for free. As I said, I see the smoke is down, and also that Nexa has begun to rotate over.
Doesn't look like we're going to get any look for the time being with X-Ray. Unfortunately, the way you enable it is covered by something on the scoreboard, and it won't come up on this. So we'll try to figure that out. As we said,
don't you just enable your own wall hack?
Oh yeah, good point. No, but I wish I did, mate. I'd actually be good at the game then. This is being pretty clean by Copenhagen Flames. Yeah, in these kind of rounds, you don't want them to lose a lot of weapons. They shouldn't be, and indeed, probably more convincing than I would have even expected. You have to remember, G2 come into this with a pretty hefty advantage. And we also come into this with a pretty hefty disadvantage. Not having the X-ray is going to probably annoy us more than it annoys you in chat, to be honest. Because it's so much harder to connect what's going on.
A lot more difficult to commentate and stuff, yeah. I see people complaining saying it should just be the press of a button. Unfortunately, when we brought in the observer, it messed it up. But trust me, it is still a lot better than the auto director if you haven't been here the past few days.
Yeah, so that's actually a good point. Auto director with X-ray or observer without. I think I'll go with observer without. We'll fix it between now and the next map, though. We'll mess around with it a little bit because there's like 15-minute breaks between them. So, yeah, for map 2, it should be all Gucci for now. Unfortunately, this is just a necessary evil we're going to have to deal with. Amanek, if you're wondering why he didn't push forward, well, first of all, he's got the Kevlar. Might as well keep it for next round. Saves him 650. And then, also, he's just trying to get an exit. Hopefully, they'd run out and he'd pick off a couple. Maybe one of them was low and would have to exit, and then there's a 50-50 chance he goes towards you, but malheureusement, it doesn't happen. 2-2, we're going to go into a full buy now for G2.
I tried a recommendation someone said in the chat to put it onto the console command, but it immediately just went back to 0. What the hell?
Nice.
Yeah, no, but this here is where we were waiting kind of on G2 to get towards. We said we're expecting this game to be relatively straightforward for them. They have Kenny now on the op, they have their rifles, they have plenty of utility. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's not too limited. Especially since they're not really looking to get that aggressive. They're not challenging too heavily over towards Banana. They did have the op initially holding on this corner, but as we've seen a little bit of pressure from Copenhagen Flames, G2 not really wanting to stick around. So we will see the T's getting this control for themselves. The question is, do they face the op right now? Again, with the X-ray, there's definitely more intensity waiting on if those peaks are going to be coming in. And indeed, I mean, despite the flash going over, unfortunately, it didn't completely blind Kenny. Hooksy goes down, and now with a man disadvantage, Copenhagen Flames, I mean, a lot of the time when you see a team getting a man disadvantage on Inferno, they do just group up and hit the B-bomb site. But they still have a minute remaining, so I wouldn't mind if they take their time, maybe try and probe around mid a little bit, because as we can see, the CTs are playing quite passive, but that doesn't look to be the case. Right now, 2 CTs set up towards that B-bomb site, looking like they will be tested. One in the back corner, and then one in behind quad. Really taking their time. They have to wait for Queenix to come back over.
Yeah, he was just poking and prodding over towards the A side, seeing if he could find someone, but nobody showing themselves, and here we go. Execute over towards B. Smoke's on the way. This is going to leave Kenny S and Amanek to hold down towards the back of the bomb site. That super passive hold. We've got to rely on Kenny S hitting a shot with him. Molly going down, though. That blocks him out of position. Now he's flashed as well, and out they come. He's looking for them, and you see it from his perspective. Much harder without the X-ray. Amanek not finding himself much. Hold on, what is this? I thought he'd get the third on the spray down. The Molotov eating away at Nodios as well. Hunters come in. The CT smoke faded. Nexa closes it out. And what a round by G2. Amanek did a fantastic job of following through on that bomb site, making it much more doable for his teammates. And the fact that CT was completely left open, the smoke faded, and it seemed like Copenhagen Flames didn't have a read on that.
Man, one positive about the no X-ray is that I just got caught as much off guard about that player up on second oranges as the CT in the back of the bomb site did. we get to see their actual perspective. But yeah, no, I mean, a strong hold from G2, a relatively clean one, keeping those 3 alive as well. Copenhagen Flames, though, they're still able to get a pretty decent buy here themselves. I mean, the only real weakness being that Galil. They will just go back to what looks to be, again, a default. Not really seen anything too crazy from G2 either, getting a little bit more aggressive with their hold around mid, but over towards B, it is pretty much the same thing, just waiting for the op to be given a couple opportunities to take shots and back away. Already actually able to be playing towards the spawn, though. This time, it does seem like Copenhagen Flames want to favor a little bit more towards mid, or specifically towards the A bomb site, because 3 players grouped up now over towards balcony. I'm imagining the smokes go over, maybe they give themselves the opportunity to flash out and isolate the fights, either in against the pit or against the bomb site. And whichever they do right now, they will only find 1 player to fight against, because over on long, they also have a single player for that CT side, so not in the greatest spots to help each other. But here we go, going straight onto the bomb site itself. Opening kill being found by Queenix. Jax is still alive in that bomb site, but not for long. I meant to say in the pit, but either way, he's gone, so it doesn't really matter too much. Molly goes in from Kenny. I don't think that really does too much. It actually does eventually tag down Queenix. It didn't reach him quite before he got the bomb planted, but that gives them an opening if they want to maybe move for this, and I believe haven't spotted one in the apartments there.
Now smoked out though. Kenny doesn't have a lot of opportunities. Maybe if he found one with that AWP that could go for it, but it's time to just get out of there and save. Amanek with a UMP. Does he have... No one is close by that he can pick up a weapon from, right? So,
no, I don't believe so. They all died over towards A, yeah.
He's bringing that one through then. And 3-3. Copenhagen Flames doing a great job early on. I honestly, because we were setting this up last minute, getting the observer on and everything like that, I didn't get to look at the veto. Let me investigate this now.
It's actually in our chat there. I put it in for you a little while ago.
Oh, you did? Yes, I see. Inferno picked by G2. Dust2 picked by Copenhagen Flames. Wow. Okay. I mean, that shouts confidence.
The other way around. Inferno picked by Copenhagen Flames.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm reading it. Okay. Copenhagen Flames pick Inferno and G2 pick CT side. Now we're making sense. I was like looking at Dust2 going, did they really come in and pick Dust2 against G2? That makes sense.
The way it's format, it just goes weird on Discord.
Yeah, it does. So, okay. G2 picked Dust2. That makes a little bit more sense. And then we finish out on Nuke. That would have been embarrassing if I, like, tried to play it weird, like, oh, yeah, Copenhagen picking Dust. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
I wouldn't let you do that to yourself.
Yeah, I know. I know you'd call me out straight away. But, yeah. Okay, so Inferno being the pick, then if Copenhagen Flames makes a little bit of sense. They're coming in on the T side. They're looking fairly confident. And they're making a gamble in towards B versus a low buy, which is a ballsy play to say the least. But G2 have stacked up early on towards that A bomb site. So they're getting a huge advantage as they go forward. Their mollies aren't even necessary. Kenny S is the only one around here. And he hasn't slowed them down. I have to check the map now to see if they're across. But no, that molly didn't stop them. They're already on site. They haven't smoked off either way.
That's lined up.
Oh, it
yeah,
is.
He actually did hit the shot and refresh. Not able to follow it up, sadly. That kill would have been a necessity if they wanted to attempt this. At this point, just run away and save. I was surprised Kenny even stuck around once they started taking over the bomb site, because once he shot off a couple of shots, it could have been risky that maybe they try and hunt him down with that weapon. Even someone still sticking around. I mean, what, they get 1900 in this next round, so yeah, they really do need this op to be carried over, especially. Obviously, the Kevlar for Amanek going to help out a little bit as well. Only getting 1900 next is going to be a small bit low on money, so it's a little bit of a tough spot to be in. I'd imagine they'll buy with some drops coming in. But yeah, Copenhagen Flames, as you said, are off to a really good start here on their map choice. Dust2 coming up next. I would imagine G2 will probably have a relatively easy time on that. But I'm sure most people coming into this series would have favored G2 overall, kind of no matter what maps you get towards. But there we go, a clean one from the T side as well. That's exactly what you need when you're in these early stages of the game. Build up that little bit of economy, especially when you're the underdog, so that when you do lose a round, you have an opportunity to bounce back and keep control. There's the pause from G2. Understandably so. I mean, it's still early in the game, but they are down 3-4, and if they were to lose this gun round, at that point, you'd already see Copenhagen Flames very likely coming out with a T-set that they could be happy with of 6 rounds, and obviously, with it being so early, they'd have the opportunity to add a lot more. So G2 realizing how important this round is, gonna have a little bit of a chat. Looking at the buy, it should be quite strong. Jax will have a rifle coming in indeed. Limited on nades. Amanek keeps the UMP. Other than that, though, no real weaknesses. I mean, they could have a few more nades that would be helpful, but Amanek is likely going to invest up into a few more as well in the moment.
Oh, hold on. So Louis giving us a bit of a tip. Sorry, I'm working in the background and trying to get us our X-ray back on. And Dean, if you can check the Discord channel there, the ESL channel, there's a double command that might work. Normal X-ray in the console plus one more.
Yeah, the first one didn't work. That was the one that...
Yeah.
Legend and chat links.
The second one might though, because yeah, I think it actually does, because I had that same issue going through one of the Pro League Go TVs. It's working?
Yeah, it turns off the caster's X-ray. Like it stops Jakey from controlling the X-ray for us.
Perfect.
But it's better that we have it.
Perfect. Okay, so in the next round, I'll get that sorted, guys. We'll have X-ray, but for now, we're looking at a buy round between G2 and Copenhagen Flames. Copenhagen, insanely good start, but G2 called a tactical pause, and indeed, on the back of it, conceded all banana control. They are playing super passive. They've Molotov down behind that smoke, stopping the T-side from pushing forward at all, but they've still got vision. They know that the CTs haven't pushed in unless they are tucked up close, which, in all fairness, considering where the smoke and where the molly came from, which they saw, is quite unlikely, but they'll still clear it. And they're confident to go forward, knowing that there's a low probability of anyone being around here. Now the problem comes in when they have to face Kenny S, but Kenny misses the shot. And now they've got a lot of control. They know they don't need to commit off the back of it, but just holding this is going to be the most important part. And considering there's an op in... Yeah, okay, Hooksy goes down. That's what I was going to say. Considering there's an op in play, Hooksy was very aggressive. The push-up in apartments perfectly traded. And G2 set themselves up now in a 4v3. I really feel like Hooksy, he could hold the corner, but pushing forward more was just... It was risky.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point now, there's 2 players on this bomb site immediately, though. There's a flank coming in as well that is gonna be a big issue. As I say that though, Jax goes down extremely quickly, not really been able to deal out any damage, so there is still definitely a bit of a chance here if Copenhagen Flames can keep on going forward, but it's all on refresh. And unfortunately only been able to find one. Nice lockdown there by G2, but a round that looked like it could have been a little bit better for Copenhagen Flames overall if they had been able to somewhat more win out on the apartments fight there, just being caught by that aggression. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's as I said, a position where Copenhagen Flames, thanks to having taken some cleaner rounds, they do at least manage to scrape together another buy. Not perfect. There is that Galil on Hooksy, but I mean, other than that, everything is pretty much grand. The one op then as well being taken out on Farlig rather. Kind of surprising. I mean, the op isn't something you see brought out all the time on the T side. I know my weapons have gone invisible. GoTV just doesn't like me today.
Okay, I've brought us back. Sorry, we were on the pause screen there for a second. I'm sure a lot of people in chat were like, what the hell's going on? But it's okay. We've got X-ray now. Everything's good. Dean's weapons are invisible. Hopefully ours aren't. Dean, you can fix that.
I'll reconnect while you're talking.
You don't even need to reconnect. You can start recording a demo.
I tried that yesterday when I had the same issue. Didn't work for some reason.
Okay, fair enough. It takes a round to work, you know.
It might have been because, yeah, I know, because it tested. But it was when my internet dropped, so it might have just not came back on.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I got you. Well, hopefully we're okay. With the X-ray now enabled, if guns go invisible, we'll sort that out as that issue arises. For Copenhagen Flames, moving on. I'm so happy we've got X-ray. Moving on through. They're holding down in just a default at the moment. Spread out, they're taking that control again. Top banana, they've been doing this at almost every single round, and G2 not struggling to keep it. They're not committing in towards it. And by conceding the control early on, they've gone for a stack up here. 3 players towards the B bomb site. Amanek gonna get flashed in. Nice aggressive play. Gets good damage, but doesn't follow through on the kill. They don't know that there's still 2 here. And immediately, they blitz up banana. They split into an execute. That nade should be perfect. Nodio's down. Hooksy almost as well. So the offense already weakened, and now they're still pushing in to a full B hold. Kenny not blinded, swings out, but he's not good for anything.
Yeah, now this bomb site is just being overwhelmed. Nexa hiding in that back corner. Now actually does manage to find 2 and really keeps his team in with a fighting chance off the back of that. And when I reconnected my X-ray once again, so I'll fix that in a moment. It'll be alright for now, as Hunter looking like he does want to move forward quickly, being spotted by the op initially. Shot not being connected. He has to know that bomb planter's up close somewhere, but it won't matter if he's not able to do anything. It's all on Hunter. Will he check to clear out second oranges rather? Unfortunately not. Being aware instead, or being cautious instead of construction, goes down a 5th for Copenhagen Flames as they continue to grind out a really solid T-side here so far. I again need to fix my X-ray, 1 sec.
Alright, you get on that. A timeout comes in for Copenhagen Flames on 5-4. Still calling a timeout. Is respectable. They want to close out these rounds. Up against G2, I mean, when you come to Dust 2, it's not like Copenhagen don't have a chance. I know I was confused when I thought for a moment that they picked it, but I don't think that they're going to be terribly scared of playing it. Although G2 are definitely the superior team, definitely on an international level, and you've got Kenny S coming through and destroying right now. I still feel like Copenhagen have got it in the bag to at least put up a pretty damn good fight. I mean, when Farlig gets going, you got to remember, at the moment you might think, yeah, he's not doing too fly, right? T-side Inferno opping is never going to be easy, and we're still towards the start of the game before the op even starts to play a proper role. Refresh as well has been insane so far, and Queenix is turning up. And these are the win conditions that we've seen for Copenhagen Flames in the previous games that we were casting of them. Farlig, Refresh, Queenix, they were doing most of the heavy lifting, as you would expect, really. And it leaves G2 then in a spot where, I don't know, I always dislike teams picking Dust 2. Just because I feel like there's no discernible advantage given away immediately. You're never going to face a team that goes, oh man, how do we play this map?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of just standard things, more so. Just running the default, playing on mid-round calls and on the individual firepower. This round, though, for G2, not going to be doing too much with their individual skill, I wouldn't imagine, unless some crazy deagle shots are hit to try and pull this one in their favor. Again, Copenhagen Flames, they've been favoring a little bit over towards this B-bomb site for sure. Pushing in this time, I mean, there's a nade in the hands of Nexa that, if timed correctly, could certainly do some damage, make it a little bit easier for those pistols. Amanex actually already able to finish off Hoopsy. They time that nade, trying to catch them as they go forward. Unfortunately, not really working out. The Molotov then as well actually opens up the bomb site. So really at this point, I guess the goal for these remaining CTs being to see if they can just snatch away maybe a couple weapons, do some damage, and keep the economy there modest over on the T side, because as you can see, they really don't have much built up at all before this round ends. So ideally, they want to be keeping all 4 alive if possible. And with G2 not really having anything to lose, they can look for something at least. And yeah, here's Kenny going forward. Fresh pretty quickly said no, at least to that initial double push out of construction. Hunter gets 1. I mean, already 2 kills is not too bad. They only invested into some pistols. Phoenix almost getting tagged up a little bit there. Will likely escape, and I don't think Hunter is really going to try and chase them down. I don't know of any weapons could perhaps...
It doesn't look like anything's getting blown his way. Still, though, overall, like, getting that amount of kills on the board is pretty damn good for what they invested into. I think the nades could have done a little bit more, but they are always a gamble. The first one connected perfectly. Second was very much based around Copenhagen Flames playing a nice, quick round, pushing in as a group. That nade could have done a lot, but they were still being so cautious of it as they moved in. They even found the kill before the nade flew and then easily able to back away. And 6 rounds on the board for Copenhagen Flames early on is just really excuse me, staggering. And alongside the fact that obviously they're up against a weak buy now, and they didn't win the pistol, right?
No, they did not. They actually went down 2-0 before starting to come in with rounds of their own. So this has been very, very impressive so far on the T side. Jax maybe able to catch the up for himself. Yeah, Farlig, he gets a shot off, but just nowhere in the right direction. Understandably so, being completely caught off guard there. But look at Flank, not initially watching for it. Thankfully, for the sake of them, Naudio's still turning around, but he's going to find 3 more pushing around that corner. So again, at least a few kills being output here by the G2 players. I mean, there's an Op and an AK right now in play. If they get a kill quickly, they could still move forward on this retake, and you can see they definitely are tempted to. That nade stack, Hooksy not quite going down. That was quite fortunate, but yeah, at this point, I think it's just the save that we're calling for. Jackson sticking around. If he could steal this weapon from Phoenix, maybe, then nah. I was going to say maybe if he got that kill quickly and got himself the AK, they could go forward, but nah, that's done. Indeed, they finally confirmed that the save is going to come in. 7-4 though for Copenhagen Flames. Even if they do end their T-side like this and aren't able to add any more rounds, with 7 rounds, it'd still be relatively decent. A strong half, obviously, it would be on paper a good half. You obviously wouldn't want them to lose the momentum, especially as the underdogs, but 7, I mean, this is not a bad spot to be in, especially with a few rounds left to try and add a little bit more to it. But G2, they're back on the buy finally. What is this, their 3rd or 4th buy?
4th, I think. I mean, for G2 to struggle this much, we always talk about the early half, but for Copenhagen Flames to be up 6-4, 7-4, I would expect pistol round, they win the force buy, they get an eco, and then 2 buy rounds along the way. That's fair enough, but that's not what's happening here. They're destroying G2 on the deficit in the half, but now they're going in for banana control, something different for G2. And they absolutely tear them apart. Copenhagen Flames were used to getting that control for free. Oh, how the turntables.
Yeah, this time being challenged for it, and immediately then G2 realizing with that advantage, you don't really have to stick around. Willing to, I guess, just keep a standard. 2 players over towards B, 3 on towards that A-bomb site. They do have Hunter, obviously, who is tagged up as well as he's gone ahead and positioned himself in towards that long corner, just looking to try and, I guess, play off of Kenny. As being so low, he really doesn't want to be taking straight up aim duels. So I like this idea. They're going to be leaving him there so that the op can try and play the bait and switch. Unfortunately, though, for them, it is going to be taken back over towards B mostly instead, at least for the moment. They're looking for that banana control. I mean, in theory, they could still take it elsewhere, but not too likely considering how much their control is actually being limited over towards that A side of the map. So let's see if they can find these openings. I mean, it will be Farlig on the op who's looking to lead the way. And Nexa, for the moment, I believe, is just kind of shoulder peeking it, waiting to drop that smoke. And he does just put it down now. That was a good idea. Not going to give any chances to the op.
Going in again for banana control, and with just Jax and Nexa holding down. Both of these players are full HP. Those mollies, though, really boxing in. Nexa, he's 22 health, and he still gets a kill full blind. Jack's trying to go out for more, but now just tucked away. Whoa, okay. He didn't take the face, but Farlig straight through the barrels takes him down. And now a 3v2. Oh, no, a 2v2. And they've got another. Kenny S is down, the bomb planted. How is this round going to Copenhagen Flames? This is madness. Farlig still got the AWP. He's trained in and looking straight at Amanek. No, he's not. He's got his back turned. Never mind. The X-ray view model was a little weird. But then eventually he turns around, takes the kill, and Copenhagen Flames, they were so far behind in that round that it even started out with Nexa tearing them apart while full blind. Then all of a sudden, kill after kill, one by one, G2 peeked them, trying to stop the bomb from being planted, and instead, they just get destroyed.
I believe it was 2-on-5 before they even returned one of those kills as well, because despite being blinded, that first player in the fountain still got one kill. So, yeah, that is just ridiculous that they're able to recover that one, especially with how low the time was. They really either had to just peek it together and ensure, obviously, that they couldn't be taken down one by one like they did, or else wait for a second. Once someone did start planting the bomb, then they could push in and only have to deal with one player. So, I don't know, a very difficult round for G2 to lose right there. And you can see immediately they realize, oh, damn, that is not when we should have lost. They called in the tactical pause, but it's still not going to really give them much to do in this round. Obviously, not having sufficient economy, they have to take the 1/2 investment yet again, with that potentially give over 9 rounds to Copenhagen Flames here on the T side already, as they've come through on Inferno, showing us why they've picked it. This is spectacular. Right down
I'm in doubt, go for the nade stack. Appreciate it, but it doesn't look like it's working. Just a couple tickles, that's all they managed to deploy in towards the T side. But look at this little sneaky boy Nexa. He's made it down under. They checked second mid, but not quite in time. He could be causing some damage up behind. He hears the steps. He's seen the feet as well, I think, over towards second mid. Or maybe he didn't quite. Again, much easier for us with the X-ray, but he hears him now. I mean, Nexa's the one to make a play. The rest of G2 just pull him back. They know they don't want to just go out and give them openings. Once these guys make a little bit of noise and start to walk away from this position, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. It looks like Farlig's semi-aware of it, but they're still watching second mid, so the chances that they expect him to be underpass at this point are relatively low.
They had seen someone bush earlier, so that's why he's definitely being cautious up close in case the player was still sticking around the stairs there on second mid. But yeah, I mean, he is of course still in that position, looking tempted to maybe move back here in the footsteps now though. Oh my god, if he was to pop out and time these shots correctly, he could have 3 very easy frags. Being cautious though that there could be another player back behind, understandably, eventually pops out and only is able to get 1. The spam with the deagle, unfortunately, a little bit too inaccurate to pick up the second, and because of that now the A-bomb site will be for the taken here for the T side. I mean, yeah, gonna get that bomb planted again. Not a lot to work with for G2. I would like to see them attempt something, try and at least get a few kills, because that's the one thing they've been consistently doing, is keeping the damage on. The issue is they're coming towards the end of the half, so it's not going to be a massive deal pretty soon. So they ideally do need to start picking up the rounds that remain. There's an AK for Jax. At this point, he just backs away, I'd say. Yeah, gonna run away, join his teammates. Hunter also has one, so pretty good recovery, all things considered. But 9 for Copenhagen Flames.
I mean, I would not have envisioned this scoreline coming into the start of it. They've really impressed me with how well they're doing right now. My only question is, does Hooksy survive there? 35 HP? Oh, it's planted all the way back. Sorry, man.
I was in the pit. Yeah, I wasn't actually on it right there.
Yeah, the bomb was planted on the very, like, CT side of site. That That makes
I think
sense.
it only does 70 damage. It does like, what is it, like 60 damage or something if it's up on default, or 70 something along those lines.
Yeah,
And then
like
goes
20
down a
back.
decent amount as it goes back, yeah.
All Gucci. And he survives 9-4. They've got all the weapons they could possibly want on the T side. They've got money for the next round. So there's no economic benefit for G2. Like, this is grim as can be. A lot to be done by G2, and they 3-man stack early towards the B site. That means banana control is going to be sought after. The flash coming up behind. Next, they're running through the Molotov. He's taking a lot of damage. Doesn't see the player close right, but Farlick had the AWP. He couldn't take advantage of the low health. But they don't expect another player to be here. Nodios inside the smoke, looking to fade through. Nade onto Nexa for 6 HP left, but he does get away. Nodios won't be able to capitalize on this spot anymore as they now consider it to be empty. Hooksy, 31 health after a nade lobbed right onto his noggin.
This is going to kick off real soon because they do want to swing in together. I mean, the smoke going down gave the chance potentially for Nexa to have the 1v1 against the close player, but the flash was perfect, and now it's all on Amanek to try and hold on towards that one side. Flash goes over from himself, though, to try and take the peak, and it is good for one, combined with that spam. Or rather, the kill over towards A, my bad. It does give them a 2-on-1. Nodios, I mean, getting the bomb down, at least he has a little bit of time to try and position, but he's considering pushing through into the CT spawn, and has got himself up close on the tree. I don't believe he's been spotted. He may actually. Kenny's definitely being cautious of it. Yeah, they're creeping forward together. There's definitely not anything that he can do in this position. Even if he somehow got that first kill, Jax would have been ready for the trade. Obviously, plenty of time for the defuse. A 5th for G2. But there's still enough money here for Copenhagen Flames to easily come in with their buy and try and bring it to double digits. And even if they don't, 9 rounds already is something that they're going to be feeling really happy with. So G2, at this point, just trying to salvage back up to that 6-9 scoreline.
Hit an interesting question in chat there. I'll just quickly address. You might notice that on the G2 side, they've got all their pictures, whilst on the Copenhagen Flames side, they're all just black outlines. Essentially, that's because obviously this is run online, so the players.
Mitch doesn't like the Copenhagen Flames players.
That is fundamentally not true, Dean. I like all the players here. We've had good times, but Copenhagen Flames, I presume, weren't able to submit suitable pictures with green screen backgrounds, proper lighting, all that sort of stuff. G2 obviously have these on stock from all the different LAN events they go to. They have their own photography crew, all that sort of stuff. Whereas I presume Copenhagen Flames weren't ready for this, which is understandable, but it's the downside of it being online. Usually we would have a media day where we take pictures of the players, but as this isn't done on LAN, that can't happen, right? So it's not discrimination. We don't like G2 more. Just unfortunately how it is. The push out towards the site. Copenhagen Flames not liking G2, looking to tear them apart as Refresh and Hooks Meister come in with the kills, bringing it into a 3v3 and leaving G2 locked out. A bomb plant to come in yet again. The final round, there will be no saving.
Not at all. I mean, right now, still one player up in the apartments there for the T side. I believe you can see Kenny being cautious of that as he moves in. More so just going to be ready now to push in on this retake, and that's an issue. As I said, Nodio's still in the apartments, does have a strong position to try and make that flank happen. Next is being cautious, but they haven't committed in deep enough to actually spot him. So at this point, they may actually think it's clear. This is going to be massive. The backstab, not quite the second, isn't able to transfer the spray over. They still have a good opportunity, though, on the retake because they have Lucy trapped in on the bomb side. Unfortunately, it's all on Amanek now, and he is going to go down 10-5. Copenhagen Flames come out with a fantastic half that I don't think too many people were expecting.
G2 in chat, those pictures are jinxing us, it seems. Well, hopefully the jinx and the curse will be broken. Moving on to the next half. Double digits for Copenhagen Flames on the T side. Absolutely phenomenal for the Flames. Let's see if G2 can extinguish them in the next half, but before we find out, we've got to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. And yes, that was perfect timing. Fading the song. I had planned that out just down to the T. Definitely not luck. 10-5. Copenhagen Flames coming in on their CT side with one hell of a lead. G2 have got a lot to do to pull back into it. And they're going to start it in the attack with a little bit of utility for Nexa and Hunter to play with, a P2 Fiddy in play as well. And Dean, it's been a topsy-turvy series so far. Definitely not going as we expected. But maybe now G2 have got it, now that they get to set the pace on the attacking side.
Perhaps. I mean, I don't think Copenhagen Flames are going to drop off massively in their own performance. I do think it has to be G2 who step it up. Whenever I do watch Copenhagen Flames, they do tend to impress. I underestimate them every single time, though, because they seem to be able to perform at least to a decent standard no matter who they're against. Right now, though, G2, not going incredibly quick, but they do have all their players, of course, grouped up on this A side of the map. They have those smokes ready to go down, one in towards Moto, and I believe one up close there just blocking off so they can wrap in towards the bomb site. So this is a nice little strategy. It gives those Glocks the ability to close in the distance. Unfortunately, the CT is still stacked up around this bomb site are the ones who actually find those open, and Frags Refresh gets two. Still with the help of Queenix in the pit as well, just delaying that apartments push massively. Hunter eventually goes down. Unfortunately, he's become the hunted, and now it's all on Nexa. That bomb's already been stuck. I don't think it's possible for him to get in time to actually deny it, and either way goes down to Queenix. 11-5. Copenhagen Flames come in with the pistol here on the second half, which is something that they weren't able to achieve back on the first half. This is getting really scary for G2. I'm still expecting Dust 2 to fare better for them, but as you said, it's not a map that Copenhagen Flames are incapable of playing.
But G2 did get the bomb plant, and that's a huge advantage for them moving into this round. They can go in for AKs if they want, dropping over 2, but nothing but... Okay, there's a timeout coming. I was wondering what was going down. Are they actually going to eco through? But the fact that Copenhagen Flames have 3 SMGs, if G2 grab 2 AKs, drop them over, Aminex got himself armored in Mach 10, decent for leading the charge, I guess, you could actually end up in a position where you're favored. And although they would have, yes, 1 SMG, 2 players without armor or with pistols and armor, and 2 AKs, which is on paper a worse buy than Copenhagen Flames, you have to remember you're talking about the T side. They decide where they go. They're the ones that get to dictate who's facing who. And at that point, a 5 versus 2, 5 versus 3 is definitely possible and viable. You're also likely to see aggression coming out from Copenhagen Flames to try and use up those SMGs close range. If I remember correctly, although I am stretching back about 4 months of knowledge here, on these kind of buys, Copenhagen are quite frequently pushing down Banana and getting that aggressive position. So that's where AKs could pull through, but they've obviously gone in for just pistols instead. And a good thing, because that smoke would have blocked them out, and now Copenhagen, yeah, they're down bottom Banana as usual. They've got that control. What would you do here with AKs? You know, you have to wait for the smoke to fade, and then they're in close range, angle, like tucked in tree, tucked in behind the wall. They're probably going to get shredded.
Yeah, and it is mostly just pistols and a couple SMGs here. They want to try and do a very similar approach, I guess, to their pistol. No smoke down to towards Moto this time. Unfortunately, it's not really going to affect them, though, because Refresh again is in towards Brave. With the support of Queenix here in the pit, Refresh manages to get one at least before he eventually goes down to that nade. But a couple of trades have come true from G2, so that's given them the bomb plan. So that's a small positive here. They did keep some money in the reserve as well, but they have to deal with that pit player and also Nodios, who has come in on that quick flank through short. So it's all down to Hunter yet again. This time it's a 1-on-2, so it's a lot more achievable, but it's not going to be allowed. Final kill by Queenix. Again, plenty of time on the defuse. Being kept at least as a close round there, with G2 doing a good bit of damage. And as I said, getting the bomb down, it gives them enough if they want to buy here. It's only Jax who'd be left on a weaker weapon, so I'd imagine they will keep the pressure on, try and get their first round early. Copenhagen Flames, they have at least increased that lead now up to 12-5. Again, this is their map choice, with Dust 2 coming up next being the choice of course, the G2 Esports buys, and then Nuke as the decider if it's needed, if we do get to that point. I think all 3 maps are relatively decent for Copenhagen Flames for sure. Inferno certainly being the best. But against a team like G2, you definitely do still expect them to be outmatched. On a map like Dust 2 especially, I would say so, on an individual level. But who knows? I mean, if they keep playing like this, I'm not going to count them out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's going to be some clown makeup coming out if they close out. Well, certainly on 5 rounds. This is
G2 playing this one safe as well, so it's just a half investment yet again.
I mean, you can definitely look at this from a negative standpoint for G2 and that they should be doing better, blah, blah, blah. But Copenhagen Flames have had a phenomenal T side. Like, they were playing in some rounds where they're behind, their clutch out, their individual plays were nuts. Like, it's not a case that, oh, G2 should be doing this, whatever. Copenhagen Flames have been playing so well, and then you combine that in with the fact that they've been playing smart. They're not letting away a lot of the advantages that teams at their level typically would against the likes of G2. I'm honestly just blown away at this point. They've given up long control here, though, so the split can come through. There's only one player on the site. Oh, this is going to have to be a huge hold by Hooksy. And it's not. It's really not.
Yeah, you jinxed it a tiny bit. Just got wrecked by the Deagle immediately. Nodio's right now in the CT spawn, realizing that they're... No, not realizing there might be someone around here. Yeah, Jackson actually completely caught him off guard. So that seals the round pretty much at this point. Another weapon being retrieved as well. So a couple M4s being brought out this round for G2 as well as winning it. They don't have to put the investment in on those two players. Jax, he didn't even lose his any of the armor either. So as long as he doesn't take damage here any further, then he should be good to just get the cheap $350 upgrade. So this is a good opportunity, a good round for G2 to pick up. It'll give them a little bit of a boost to the economy, the opportunity to really start bringing these rounds back. But Copenhagen Flames, with the save, I mean, we might see them scraping a bye together around this one, just because of the fact that the other players will be looking at that double eco. So it wouldn't be too surprising if maybe Farley drops over an SMG and then one of the other players perhaps does the same. But we will just have to wait and see what they decide on. They do have a 12-6 lead, so if they wanted, they could play this safer, just try and get something done with the 3 weapons that they have available now. The only issue is they still wouldn't have enough to buy in the next round. So yeah, they'll go for it.
A shame they're not able to save over more of those weapons, but at the end of the day, their investment isn't horrendous. Probably on that AWP, I expect to now start to amp up a little bit. We're on the CT side. I know it is still Inferno and Oppers in general, and I think especially Farley don't tend to perform near what I would expect on Dust 2. But still, we need to see a little bit more from him because he's been a staple, as I was mentioning early on, of Copenhagen Flames in their solid games. They've already got a 12-6 lead. With G2 leading the pace now on the T side, that's where things can get a little bit scary. Generally, that's not how games work, right? You're looking at it, if you have a bad CT, your T is going to be much, much worse. But considering G2 are so far ahead, look at this confidence play by Farley. He's going out one after another, taking them down. Pushing into trade, they can't find a thing. There's 3 players here as well, which I think the utility usage might give away. But tucked in the corner, there's no way out for Hunter. Thank you, Farlick. He heard me, obviously. He's answering my call. Said he needed to step it up, and there's a 3K to open up this round.
You heard you? Did you just accuse Farlick of stream sniping?
No, I'm on his TeamSpeak. I'm just live coaching. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, that's not cheating. Jax, though, if he can pull a kill back here, maybe there is a chance. Unfortunately, a quick rotation already coming back in. I was going to say if they moved quickly, then they'd only have the low health player in the bit to deal with. They also have to deal with the player now towards Mo-O, and that makes it just Amanek as well, unfortunately, as Jax goes down. 24 seconds and up in his hands. He's going to try and back away and see if he can save this weapon over. Considering Nodios doesn't really have much to lose, he, in theory, could try and hunt this one down a little bit. Amanek actually just positioned himself in towards apartments. Okay. This may not be expected, to be fair. They'd likely think he just backed away. You can see they already have one player sent in towards the spawn as well. Oh, one player coming through the apartments, though. That is Nodios right now. And 4 in hands goes over towards the balcony as well, fortunately for Amanek. So yeah, the up will be carried over. That's a pretty big positive. You can look at their economy and see that they do have enough to maybe scrape together to buy if they want, because Amanek could drop one, Hunter and Jax could buy up as well. And it is probably something that they're considering with the scoreline at the moment, obviously being 13-6. They don't really have a lot of chances now to actually start pulling this back. So I think they kind of will just have to make that investment work.
These newer Oppers, and obviously I mean that in contrast of Farley to Kenny S. I mean, Kenny's obviously been around a lot longer. Have been so enjoyable to watch so far. Farley obviously right there in that round. I'm immensely
Massive
surprised.
balls.
Yeah, the fact that he went out for that and again, looking for those kills versus G2. I mean, you expect a team like Copenhagen Flames in their position in the world rankings to be playing a little bit more tame versus this team, to feel scared maybe, but no, they don't give a damn. They're treating it like any old opponent. They know G2, welcome to our world of online CS. That's what they're saying. But you look at Farley, look at Maka. These guys are so fun to watch. I think we've got a whole new generation coming up in Counter-Strike at the moment. But, man, oh man, we need to see something new from G2. Losing the round just ain't cutting it. 13-6. Copenhagen Flames 3 away from victory, and if they win this one and G2 don't get a bomb plant, then the economy is going to really struggle, and we're probably looking at match point. A map point.
Yeah, not quite match point. It is a best of 3, fortunately, for G2's sake. This is the choice to Copenhagen Flames, so you would hope that G2 would still be able to say, all right, that's not the end of the world. We can move on. There's still Dust 2 and Nuke to come. But I don't know. Copenhagen Flames are definitely a capable Nuke team. I've seen them have some spectacular performances there, and they are also capable of playing Dust 2, even though, as you said, it's not their best map by any means. So I do think we're going to have a competitive game potentially coming, and I hope that G2 can maybe start picking it up a little bit now. Smoke towards long, that's going to make it hard for Huxley to be able to help out. He might just have to spam through. There is a player close on the left, but as I say that, Refresh and Phoenix also prepared to spot that mid push through, and G2 are gone before they can do anything. It's all on Nexa, 1 on 5. I mean, he's just wondering, what happened, guys? Oh, there was a 4-man stack in mid. Of course, that's how this game has been going so far. Makes sense.
Où est mon ami? They're gone. They're dead. They're just not here. He's trying to figure out what's happened, piece together the puzzle, investigating the scene of the crime, and in comes the killer. They often lurk around, and Huxley swinging in with that headshot puts 14 on the board for Copenhagen Flames, and most likely 15 as well. G2 are in a position where their money is, well, it isn't. It just isn't. There's none. There's barely any. I mean, we're talking pistols armor at best. A couple Deagle's going to make an appearance, and they'll play for the next. They'll play for 9 consecutive rounds to take it across the line, and that is one hell of a big ask. That is unless they manage a big surprise here, but Copenhagen Flames have been fairly tight in the way they've been playing so far. Nice nade usage early on towards Banana. There's a frag that's going to land for good. No, never mind, actually. I thought it was going into tree, but it hits the wall and bounces, so...
That's actually where they were. There was 2 players in that corner where the nade landed, and it didn't do nearly as much damage as I thought. It was underneath their feet. Both.
Yeah.
Really strange. Molly over towards the top. That's actually going to cut off a couple of the players, I believe. Yeah, this one goes down, but the Molly is ahead of it, so it forces Nexa to take the fight, and that is absolutely perfect. He goes down. This is obviously, as you said, just a half investment. Copenhagen Flames most likely should be getting themselves map point anyway. But ideally, take this one clean. Just make sure they're not going to have any weaknesses in the next round if they were to take some damage, for example. Obviously, it's not like they'll need to be having a ridiculous amount of reinvestments or anything. They have a good lead at this point. But there is still a chance that G2 could get going once they get the weapons back in their hands. So they still have the security. And yeah, going to the smoke is not a good option apparently for G2. No flashes, no utility. There was a little bit of a gap they were trying to peek around, but that kind of made it just a tiny little choke point that both of the players were able to focus on, unfortunately. So here it is, 9 in a row is what we need to see from G2 if they want to make the overtime a reality. We had some crazy matchups yesterday, especially in our first one, the NIP versus Ents game, I believe it was. We had 2 overtimes map 1, we had an overtime then on map 2. We'll forget about map 3, that didn't happen. But but yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing one here, unfortunately. This is looking like a little bit of a stomp from Copenhagen Flames. Again, I expect G2 to step it up going on to Dust 2, and if they do get as far as Nuke, I'd expect them to be looking better there as well. But I don't think Copenhagen Flames are going to be dropping off. They just always look really good.
Well, with a hell of a way to open up this series, Copenhagen Flames looking to make a scoreline happen that I don't think a single person out there would have bet on. 16-6 could be coming onto your screens with just one more swing. Copenhagen Flames look to finish this one off. The smoke going to fade in a second, and a flash will come over. Nodios to swing through and look to eliminate this whole G2 team, but there is a firing squad here. Hello! Knife out! Farlick hadn't got a clue what was going on. He was on a different planet. Smoke down for Hooks. He gives away the fact that he's still defending this site, but G2 don't look to push forward, actually. Slowing it down, but hold on. They're not expecting the ballsy play from Hooksy. He was thinking of pushing through that smoke for a second, but he decides against it. It was probably for the best as Nexa began focusing on it.
Yeah, even though they're in the 3-on-4, it's not the worst spot considering the damage they were able to put out. You can see Refresh at the moment, not really 100% sure about where they're going to end this, so has stuck around the CT spawn for now, and is even beginning to move back in towards B, which looks like it will be the correct decision. Where's he going to position himself, though, is the question. He can't really get into a great spot before this attack comes in. As you can see with the nades available, the smokes and such will go down. The flash actually blinds him up for a moment, so he isn't able to get much done as they're crossing over. And it's Hooksy, obviously, who's hiding in towards the back of the bomb site now, who is going to have to come up huge. Actually gets himself, too, as he swings out. Refresh ready as well. Lines them up, actually finding the one in the background first. 16-6. That is how the first map of this series